Well, I want to talk about our judicial system and family court. I can only imagine how difficult it is to be a judge and having to make decisions on where children go. It is a very difficult, I am sure of it. But we cannot be taking kids away from parents because of the welfare and well-being of the child based on the fact that the parent is not working. Why is the parent not working? Is the parent not working because the parent doesn't want to work? I seriously doubt that. In my case, since I came here to Alabama in 2009, I applied. I have proof that I applied many different places while pregnant and was given the runaround. So I guess I should have just made a U-turn and left. But I saw so many people working in Alabama, even illegally. People who were working as housekeepers, making good money, not paying any taxes. People working who had just gotten here a few years ago without even fully knowing the language very well. Fully working. So I'm thinking, why can't I get a job? I've served in the military, was honorably discharged with a good conduct medal, have training courses under my belt. Why can't I get a job? So we need to find out why in certain cities people are having their child taken away from them based on allegations that the mom is not stable. Why is that? Why is this that people who should be in better positions waiting tables, and why are people who should be waiting tables in better positions? What's happening here? Because when I wait tables, which I'm happy to do it, as long as it pays the bills. When I'm waiting tables, which I'm happy to do it, it's not just the average person who's going to, in their 40s, pick up a tray, heavy tray, and go buzzing around and serving heavy trays. It's not just anybody who's willing to do that. But this is why I'm in good shape, so that I can do work as best I can. I'm not the world's healthiest person, but I try to maintain a healthy lifestyle as best I can so that I can work. I was taking my son to school, picking him up from school. I was cooking healthy meals at home, taking my son to the park. I didn't invite everyone and their brother who wants to see if my son's skin infection can be healed by Jesus. Y'all are full of politics within politics and politics within the churches and politics within the medical field. I'm sick of it. Because you want somebody to be crucified for you. You want somebody to be sacrificed for you. Because you cannot get it through your thick head that Jesus was already crucified for you and shed blood for you a long time ago. You want to see if I can perform a miracle and cure diseases. All of this is religiosity baloney. I am not masochistic. And neither is my son Alexander. And I don't appreciate you sacrificing my son and other children in that God-forsaken system. While you sit back and you get away with your illegalities, which is gambling with other people's lives. I don't gamble. If I ever did gamble, it's $20. I went to the casinos to eat and to dance my pain away many years ago. I'm not the Antichrist. I'm sick and tired of you crucifying me and sacrificing children to the god of Molech for your stupidity and your ignorance. I know that you're thinking, oh, well, if she is Jesus, she'll cure her son. How much more? When I make a phone call and ask somebody to please, thank you, and excuse me, consider taking the artificial flavors and colors and preservatives and hormones and antibiotics out of the food, and I make a phone call to please provide organic food for you, a long time ago, it was already done. I was healing my own body by applying my own knowledge. And I'm not a witch or the Antichrist, nor was I trying to provoke you. It was pointed out to me that I was a lazy, fat, bitch. It was pointed out to me that my breasts were not perky. It was pointed out to me that I was over the hill at 25. But when I recover and I overcome, you call me a witch. And you think I'm out there provoking your husbands. I was killing my pain and my frustration at the World Gym before I became Planet Fitness in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. I was going to the coffee shop for the computer, the free internet, not looking for a sugar daddy or to get picked up. At one time, I was at Coffee Fusion in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, while waiting for me to go 3 hours away to a job training for the Army Corps of Engineers. And by the grace of God, even though my tires had been flattened, I actually was on the interstate when I heard kerplunk. Okay? In the middle of nowhere. Halfway between where I was in Ocean Springs and where I was supposed to go for my training with the Army Corps of Engineers for FEMA training. I ended up in front of a Star, S-T-A-R, car dealership by the grace of God. So I crossed the street, went up the hill, and I couldn't be making this up if I wanted to. If I wanted to! I went up there and made a phone call to the person that I was talking to having coffee that morning. I was having coffee with this gentleman from Mobile by the name of Marty. He was there with FEMA and some church people doing some work after Hurricane Katrina. And I was having coffee with him that morning, and on my way to discovered my tires were flattened. So I called Marty. I said, Marty, can you please take care of these tires? So Marty used his credit card and had my tires fixed at this Star dealership. By the grace of God! The Star dealership employee drove back around, picked up my car, took it back to Star dealership, and put new tires on my car. By the grace of God! One time I was riding in my bike in Mobile, Alabama, because we don't have bike lanes. So I was riding to and from PF Chang's because I sold my car to be able to pay for my rent due to unemployment. All of these things are strategically timed and orchestrated. Because with our technologies and our communication, we know where everybody is at all times. Give me a break! My son has a skin infection and I can take care of it. My son is not your guinea pig for your experiments and your religiosity. And your politics within politics. I am not going to be the attorney of the illegal immigrants because I've already done enough. I was one of the first people to say down here in the South, if our country is letting people in here illegally wherever they're coming through, however they're coming through, then let us give them the right to work here legally. And this will reduce the crime of identity theft. Because the people having access to identities, American identities, are the very people who work for the government. These are the people who have access and are able to sell other people false identification so that they can work here legally. This has been going on for a long time in America. Because, see, what happens is when somebody becomes a victim of identity theft, then guess what? You have to go to an attorney. Who's making money? The attorneys? The people selling identity? American citizens' identity? And the people working legally. These are the people making money. Because when you have to sue for somebody taking your identity away, or using your identity to work somewhere else, or do some kind of, God knows what kind of wishy-washy work, you have to get an attorney. So, everybody makes money. The same thing with pharmaceutical companies. The FDA is approving these drugs that are right down dangerous half the time. Who's making money? The pharmaceutical companies? The insurance companies? The medical professionals prescribing it? And the attorneys that come back and sue because of the deaths. Deaths! Or harm. I've had enough! So I was pointing out that if we're going to be letting people come in here illegally through whatever hole they're coming in through, because America was allowing it and turning a blind eye on it, I don't have a problem with people being illegal. But it's like, if we have to pay taxes, then they have to pay taxes too. And then that way it's a win-win situation. Because that way they can have the right to work here legally with a tax ID, which oftentimes they get. Oftentimes these guys that are here illegally have a tax ID, and then they subcontract people who don't have a tax ID. All of this was brought up to my attention here in Alabama. When I came in here, I was asked to translate for a flooring company who was hiring people with tax ID, and they were subcontracting illegals without a tax ID because the owner of the company is just dealing with the person who has a tax ID. They don't care about the subcontracted people. Well, damned if you do and damned if you don't. I am not going to be crucified for you. You're coming with me. Oh, yes, I will drag you with me to the cross of Jesus. Let us. Because you're not crucifying me. I told y'all, when I was getting picked on by that little girl in public school, I came from an Italian institute to a public school, and I was getting picked on. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. Not only are these people not learning Italian, they're not learning English. They're a whole year behind what we were learning in the Italian institute. So I started getting picked on. Oh, you little crybaby, after being blamed for something I didn't do. I pulled on that little girl's braids real good. And you know what? It feels so good to this day. To this day! That little girl and her best buddy became my best friends. My best friends! Because they were like, okay, she's not going to let me pick on her. And then she'll defend herself. I didn't hurt her. I just let her have it. So what you're doing to me is crucifying me. And I told y'all, I ain't going to be bleeding for you. Because that already happened. Y'all are going to be crucifying me and want me to pay for your hurt and then mock me? Mock me and my son? Blame my son for something he didn't do? Being picked on at school by a full-grown adult? I'll spank my son's butt, but I am his mama. Because what you're doing to him is far worse. My son, you can see it when he was with me. He was climbing the walls. He was strong. His upper body was strong. He had healthy skin. He had his own bedroom, his own bath, and everything clean because I have a standard of living. He had all his musical instruments and all of his caddies, everything organized. And you invaded my home and were jealous of my standard of living. You were jealous of my fertility. You were jealous of what I had. Except for living with an alcoholic. Because I will not. I will not put up with that. He bought that house for me and Alexander to live in as a family. While he sat back and fanned his butt while other people are sitting in jail for crimes that they may or may not have committed. And these prisoners are given a free laptop so that we can continue to collect human intelligence and we can continue to steal intellectual capital. No problem. No problem until it is a problem. You're coming with me to the cross. Oh, yes. I was told by Miss Diane Miller, Susan, let DHR do what they need to do. Don't you trust? We know the judge. It's like, fine, people, but if you're going to be crucifying children, crucify yourself to the god of Molech. Don't crucify my Alexander. If you want somebody to be crucified for you, crucify yourself. I will bring you with me to the cross. Alabama, America. If we're going to be straightening anything, we're going to be straightening together. Alabama, America. Because we have some deep-rooted problems that were here way before I got here. Okay? And I'm not even from here. But I am here. You want people to fight for your cause? You fight for your cause. I will fight with you, but I'm not going to fight for you while you sit back and mock me. I will not. I will fight with you. When you bring something up to my attention, I will bring it up to the attention of upper management. but I will fight with you, not for you, while you sit back and mock me and mock my situation with my son. I will bring you to the cross so that you can meet the Father. Heaven and earth shall meet. We in the west and the east shall meet. Down here in the south, the earth. But I'm not going to fight for you a fight that you're not willing to fight. So you shall meet me at the cross. Let us talk. Thank you.